In the previous program, we mentioned that there are 6 blood bottles in Journey to the West, which are things that can prolong your life. In addition to peach climbing and fairy elixir, there are also burnt pears, fire dates, ginseng fruit, child meat, and tang monk meat. The first 3 types have been introduced to you and have been disassembled. Let's talk about this ginseng fruit, which is familiar to you. The 24th chapter of the original text describes that in Wuzhuang Temple in Wanshou Mountain, there is a ginseng fruit, also known as Chao Huan Dan, which blooms every 3,000 years and bears every 3,000 years. It will only mature after 3,000 years. It will only be eaten after 10,000 years. 4 of them only produce 30 fruits in 1,000 years. The fruit looks like a child who has not completed 3 moves. All the limbs are all equipped with 5 senses. If a person is destined to hear the fruit, he can live to 360 years old. If he eats one, he will have to live 700 years. So, it is undisputed that this ginseng fruit helps immortality, but given the character of the bragging king of Jean Adam, we cannot say whether the effect is so good. Besides, this ginseng fruit tree is not as good as climbing peach trees. There are so many trees, but only one ginseng fruit tree has ripened 30 fruits, and the number is too small. Let's talk about this 5th of Kelpin. In Journey to the West, there were 2 incidents of eating children. The first incident was the Inspiration King of Tongshan. He had to hold a ritual competition once a year, and he had to send a ritual of the same man and a woman. He would eat it in one meal to ensure good weather. If he didn't ritual competition, it would cause disasters. Who is this Inspiration King? Later we found out that it was Guanyin Bodhisattva's pet, a little goldfish. So the second incident of eating a child happened in the country of monks, saying that the country is hidden, and overseas secret recipes can prolong life. The former went to the island for 10 weeks to collect medicine and gather them all together. But, this medicine is just so powerful. I only use 1,100 and 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 and 115 years of old age after taking it. It's not someone else, it's the writer of The Birthday Star, Bai Lu. These 2 cannibalism incidents occurred after the Armed Watch Ginseng Fruit Conference. The participants include Tang Monk, Master and Disciple, Fulu Shou Sanqing, Zhen Yuanzi, and Guanyin Bodhisattva. The white deer of the birthday boy and the whale of Guanyin Bodhisattva both have to eat children, and this is definitely not for no reason. At that time, Tongshan only ate 2 at a time. When I arrived at the country of monks, I had to eat in batches, and it was specially designated to eat heart and liver to be effective. Behind this, there must be a big conspiracy. Given that the appearance of this ginseng fruit is like a child who is not yet fully satisfied, let's make an assumption that this child's flesh is like a ginseng fruit and has the effect of immortality. This blood bottle 6 is Tang Monk's flesh, which is a big suspense in Journey to the West. First of all, there is no direct evidence to show whether this Tang Monk can live forever. In the world, it can only be a legend. The truth about Tang Monk's flesh can only be explored on the future journey of learning from the scriptures. Let's first think that Tang Monk's flesh can live forever, but Tang Monk has only one person. He weighs only about 200 pounds, right? Obviously not enough. We have come to a conclusion about these 6 blood bottles. First of all, Tang Monk's meat, Chongqing pill, and ginseng fruit are relatively few. When it comes to eating children's meat, it must be the duty of heaven, and only Jiao Lihua Jujube and Pan Peach are left. The effect is that peach climbing is better than hot dates, and the yield is higher than hot dates. So, this is why peach climbing can become the key to the salary of the heavenly court. The key is that it has good efficacy and high yield. So how much is the production of Pantao? Before calculating the yield of peach blossoms, we must overcome another major problem in Journey to the West. That is 1 day in the sky and 1 year on the earth. There is a description in the original text, the Monkey King's Way. I have fish in just half a month, where are there more than a dozen? The monkey said, Your Majesty, you are in heaven for a long time, and in heaven for a day, the lower realm will last for a year. What is the official position worth, King? This is the 4th chapter of the original work, describing the conversation between Sun Wukong and the monkey from the heavenly court to Huaguo Mountain. It is also the first time in the entire Journey to the West that 1 day appears in heaven and 1 year on earth. So you may not have imagined that the first one to say 1 day in the sky and 1 year on the ground was the monkey from Huaguo Mountain. It is true that Sun Wukong stayed in the sky for half a month, but has decades passed by the world. Let's do it. Even if it is 1 day in heaven and 1 year in the earth. So, how long does it take for Sun Wukong to go to heaven to help rescue soldiers several times during the journey to obtain the scriptures? According to the setting of Journey to the West, there is only 1 second in the sky, and it is also 365 seconds on the ground, which is about 6 minutes. The time of day on the ground is converted into time on the sky, which is 4 minutes. From this we can infer that if it is really 1 day in heaven and 1 year in the earth, On the way to obtain the scriptures, when Sun Wukong went to the heavenly court to ask for help, he would have to stay in the sky for 2 minutes, and the Tang monk's meat could basically be steamed. If you stay in the sky for 4 minutes and meet an impatient monster, this Tang monk would be almost digested. Therefore, if we can truly achieve the goal of the old soldiers and reach Tang Seng, then it is best if Sun Wukong stays in the sky for no more than 1 minute. We are usually normal people, and we can say 80 to 160 words in a minute. When our announcers are broadcasting, the normal speaking speed is 240 words per minute. Even if we are Sun Wukong, our speaking speed is faster and we can say 300 words. Then, the good news is that there is no need to say so many words from the old soldiers of Sun Wukong's squad. As long as you can't say it well, your master was arrested, it's not good, your master was arrested again, it's enough, it takes less than a minute. But the bad news is that people in the heavenly court are all slow to ask him, hey, who has been arrested by your master and how he was arrested? Let's ask for instructions on the imperial land. When these procedures are chopped down, Tang Seng will definitely die. Even so, we haven't counted Sun Wukong yet, and the time to go back and forth. So obviously, 1 day in heaven and 1 year in earth is unreasonable. So what's wrong? We can make several assumptions boldly. To put it, the time of 1 day in the sky is often different from the time of 1 day on the ground. To put it in a figurative way, the sun rises once, just for a day. I saw the sun rise 365 times on earth, but I only saw the heaven once. Alas, it seems that it makes sense to say this, but be careful, if this is true, the length of time experienced on the heaven and earth is the same, then Sun Wukong cannot feel the long day in the heaven. In other words, if the length of time is the same, the feeling of staying in heaven for half a month is the same as the feeling of staying in the human world for half a month. So, the second hypothesis is that time and space are distorted. The so-called heaven is like a black hole in time. The time of heaven passes slower than that of the human world. However, this statement is also problematic. As we just said, Sun Wukong often wanders between time and space. Once this assumption is true, there will inevitably be a paradox that Sun Wukong can only stay in the heaven for at most 1 minute, so this assumption is also untrue. So the third hypothesis is that the time unit in heaven and earth is different. The same day has been said by the world, but the people in the heavenly court say that they have passed by 1 year, and the heavenly court uses years as the unit of time. If assumption 3 is true, we must solve 3 problems. First, what is the purpose of heavenly court doing this? Of course, first, it can increase the mystery and authority of the heaven, making it easier to confuse the public. In other words, choose the calculation method of time according to your needs. If I stayed in the sky for 1 day and ran to the ground for 1 day, then I can say that I have passed 1 year and 1 day, and I have only passed 2 days, and others can't judge my whereabouts. Gods can freely falsely report their age and hide their true age. If you don't know my age, you won't know the time of my tribulation, and I will be safer. Fourth, the time gap between heaven and earth can be quickly opened. The gods in the heavenly court are getting older and older, and the gods in the earth are getting younger and younger. I will meet you a few days later. It is obvious that they were born on the same day, but the people in the heavenly court are obviously several years older. I am older than you, so you have to respect me. So 1 day in heaven and 1 year in earth, there are many benefits, so he has the basis for existence. Then, the problem arises again. Why did the monkeys in Wagwa Mountain tell Sun Wukong the secret of 1 day in the sky and 1 year in the earth? The following program will tell you the story behind it.